So, what happens when a scientist believes that the most powerful innovations aren't actually found in a lab, but in a partnership with the very people they're meant to serve? Well, we're about to find out. Let's dive into the incredible career of Dr. Thamban C. and his lifelong mission to bring science directly to the farming community.
We're talking about more than 30 years on the ground, working deep inside India's plantation crops sector. That's over 3 decades dedicated not just to research, but to what's called extension. And that's the really crucial part, the actual work of getting new knowledge and techniques into the hands of farmers.
And this, right here, is the core idea that changes absolutely everything. Instead of treating farmers like, passive subjects to be studied, he saw them as active, essential partners. And that fundamental shift in perspective, well, it made all the difference.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to follow the thread of that big idea and see how it played out. We'll start with his new research model, then see how that built up community wealth and empowered women. From there, we'll explore how it protected agricultural heritage, and finally, we'll wrap up by looking at the lasting legacy of his impact.
Okay, so let's jump into his most foundational contribution. To really get what he did, we first have to understand the old system he was pushing against, a system that frankly put up a huge wall between scientists and farmers.
This lays it out perfectly. See, the old model was basically a one-way street, lab to farm. Scientists cooked up some new tech and just kind of pushed it out there. But Dr. Thamban, he championed the institution-village linkage, a two-way flow of information. This model, which was so central to his work on the National Agricultural Technology Project, was all about doing research with people, not on them.
But, a new model sounds great on paper. But what about the results? How did this new participatory approach actually translate into real, tangible economic benefits for rural communities?
His work on the ICAR-Central project shows you exactly how. It wasn't just about one single thing. He looked at the entire coconut value chain. He started by introducing better farming tech, sure, but then, and this is huge, he helped farmers form community-based organizations, or CBOs, which gave them real collective power. This let them start creating their own value-added products, which in turn gave them way better access to markets. It's a complete system designed for sustainable income.
And inside that system, there's a particularly powerful story that emerges: his intense focus on creating new economic opportunities specifically for women, turning a humble coconut into a serious tool for empowerment. This was the big question he helped these communities tackle. I mean, it's one thing to grow coconuts, but it's a whole other challenge to transform that raw material into a real sustainable business, especially one that puts income and opportunity directly into the hands of women. Well, the answer was all about organization and adding value. He helped get women's self-help groups up and running, and then equipped them to produce products that people really want, like high-demand coconut chips and premium virgin coconut oil. And this wasn't just about a little extra income. This was about creating entrepreneurs and building real economic independence. Now, beyond the economics, Dr. Thamban's work also had this profound impact on conservation. He really understood that true sustainability isn't just about protecting our natural resources. It's just as important to protect the deep well of human knowledge about those resources. Here's a perfect example. Using that exact same collaborative approach, he works side by side with farmers to identify and officially document 5 distinct local coconut varieties. Now, this might just look like a list of names, but it is so much more. This kind of documentation is absolutely vital for future breeding programs and for protecting the rights of the farmers who have been cultivating these plants for generations. And his conservation work didn't stop with genetics. He also formally documented a huge amount of indigenous technical knowledge, the traditional time-tested farming methods passed down from generation to generation. Preserving this wisdom is just as critical as preserving seeds, making sure it doesn't get lost to time. So, when you put all of these pieces together, the participatory research, the community wealth building, empowering women, and the conservation work, you start to see this clear, powerful legacy of profound impact. And that impact, well, it has been recognized. These awards aren't just personal trophies for him. They're a validation of his entire approach. The Certificate of Appreciation for Generating Income, the award for the best research paper, the Best Scientific Team Award, they all point to the incredible success of a model built on real community partnerships.
Dr. Thamban's entire career provides a powerful answer, but it also leaves us with this question to really think about. His work shows us a path forward, where science isn't something that's done to a community, but something that's done with it. unlocking a potential that we are honestly just beginning to understand.